Because a lot of the work we do is on the computer, it's important that we know how to manage our digital files. If we don't do so, this could mean reaching file storage limits, digital clutter that decreases efficiency, and losing important files. Let's discuss some tips for organizing your digital files. When you begin the organization process, you don't have to go back to all of your old files and sort them. You can organize them as you come across them again if you prefer. You'll see improvement as long as you continue sorting from your new starting point. You don't need to block out time to organize everything all at once. For example, try putting your files in the correct folder as you create them instead of organizing them later. Remember that the simpler your organization is, the better. You don't want a complex system that wastes time, but a system that is too simple will lose specificity. It's all about striking a balance. For instance, you'll likely use folders to organize digital files, but it's not a good idea to nest them too much by putting folders within folders. This can make it more difficult to find what you're looking for. Adopt a consistent naming system for old and new files. When naming files, think of how you want to search for them in the future. For example, it doesn't make sense to name them according to the date the file was made when you'll be searching by client name. If you use abbreviations, make sure they're ones that you can recall easily. And if you're sharing a file system, make sure that others know them too. While organizing, if you come across files you don't need anymore, delete them to remove clutter. Archive materials that you don't use much but need to reference in the future. If you keep seeing duplicates, consider a separate service to merge files. If you have many files and are worried about space, consider using zip folders to increase the storage capacity of your device. You can also use cloud storage to free up your space on your computer. Stick to just one service so you don't have to switch back and forth between them. And if you're going to share cloud storage, make sure you know who has access to it. When you store your files digitally, security becomes an issue. You don't want your files to be vulnerable. This is especially true if you work remotely and lack the safeguards that an office might have in place. If files are stolen, this can cause problems for your company and can potentially be a legal issue. Many organizations will have security guidelines and requirements for their workforce, and they may provide you with a work computer. It's important to keep your files safe, as they can contain valuable or private information. So, what can you do to keep them secure? Encrypt your sensitive files, external hard drives, device, and connections to the internet. Additional encryption and passwords are sometimes available from email clients such as Gmail. Also be wary of phishing scams when browsing your emails. Keep Wi-Fi networks password protected and up to security standards. When logging in to various websites and services, consider using multi-factor authentication. Adding an extra level of security can prevent people from hacking your devices. Consider using a password manager that can create strong passwords and maintain them for you. You won't want to use the same one for every service. And writing them on paper isn't always helpful. Many remote workers like to work outside the home in shared spaces, such as cafes. Avoid public Wi-Fi whenever possible. Instead, use a personal hotspot or a virtual private network. Also remember to be careful when charging devices publicly, as some can be installed with devices that steal information. Keep sensitive materials out of others' line of sight, and don't leave your device unattended in public spaces.